Discussion and possible action on the rezoning application. Engineered Concepts Rezoning parcel I-1 industrial I-2. That's what rezoning is about.
Now it's really green.
You want a water?
No.
I have some ice water if you guys want. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm James.
Dustin.
Nice to meet you, Dustin.
Nice to meet you.
Just started streaming. We already got 8 viewers.
Nice.
A lot of people here. A lot of people. Yes, yes. I was so impressed pulling up. I was worried.
There'll be more at the next one at the.
Good. Oh, for sure. The 28th? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is gross.
Yep. I agree, sir. Mother, I just put it on so you can watch at home.
Hey, we got some media coverage, looks like. Police presence too, did you notice that?
Oh, yeah. I asked Mr. Volker if I could film, and he said, go right ahead. That's our new friend, apparently. Did you sign it? Are you going to talk? No. I think this is sneaky shady, and it's going to be over quick.
Okay, I'm going to
The
call the
28th
July
will
7th,
be the
2025 Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting to order. Please stand, do the pledge.
The flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the time is 5:39. I'll call this meeting of the Zoning Commission to order. Next, I will state some ground rules. The Planning and Zoning Commission will be available to receive comments from the public regarding the two public hearings on the agenda tonight. These are items 2 and 3 under new business. Communications and comments from the citizens regarding the City of Benson or other matters properly addressed to the Planning and Zoning Commission shall be heard by the Commission. Such remarks shall be addressed to the Commission as a whole, shall be limited to 3 minutes, unless, now I'm going to adjust to the time. Everyone present tonight should sign in on the sheet near the entrance if you wish to speak. Indicate this on the form, and your name will be called to come to the podium and speak. The clerk will now call a roll of commission members.
Bill Mayer,
I am too.
Tina Donovan,
Present.
Lonnie Postgate,
Here.
Jenna Dion, and Blaine Lewis.
Here.
Okay,
Blaine is present online. Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
we have a quorum presence. I will now declare the public hearing for rezoning a parcel 123-16-20E open. Does the planning staff has a presentation?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't know if your screens are working or not, but everything that's on the screen should be in your packet for you as well. So you can follow along on paper. And then for those present, you can see the massive screens on the walls. So before you today is a public hearing for a rezoning just off of Directway in Ocotillo. The first thing I need to point out is on the agenda, it's listed, this parcel is listed twice. One is listed correctly as parcel number 123-16-020E. Another time in the agenda, it was transposed and the 16 and the 020 were backwards. So I'd just like to clarify which parcel is actually being rezoned or applied to be rezoned for, and it's that 123-16020E. And that should be in your record as well in your packet. The background to the request, this is a rezoning of parcel 123-16020E from I-1 light industrial to I-2 heavy industrial for the purpose of a metal fabrication business. The applicants are Engineered Concepts. They are not the current landowners, and I think that they will explain that later. But just to keep that on your radar, the applicant tonight is Engineered Concepts Incorporated. And the reason for the rezoning is according to the city zoning regulations, to have a metal fabrication business, it must be zoned I-2. So they're just following the process and bringing it to you guys tonight to get that rezoned from I-1, already industrial, just the light version, to I-2, the heavy industrial version. This is some background information on the parcel itself. It's 5.99 acres. The correct APN is again listed there in your parcel or in your packet and on the screen. The existing zoning, already said that, is I-1. They plan to change it to I-2, heavy industrial, for their purpose of their metal shop. It's currently commercial. I-2 or I-1 is commercial. It's just vacant land. So they would like to keep it commercial, just change that zoning to the heavier industrial zoning, and it will be for their metal fabrication plant. This is the process a rezoning has to go through. So it must go to a citizen review, which is citizen-led, citizen-held. We give them our building, date and time, and then they host a meeting and see if any of the citizens or public have comments. That was held June 23rd of 2025. I believe the applicants and 2 others were present, so they had a nice conversation and got some input. And then it has to go to P&Z, Planning and Zoning Commission, at a public hearing, which is obviously right now. So that's the step it's in. And then should P&Z approve this and recommend it to council, it'll go to a public hearing with the council. And that's slotted for August 11th, 2025 at this moment. If there's a special session of council, we might get it moved up. But it all just depends on scheduling. But right now, August 11th is when it's slotted to go to council. This is just a picture of the parcel map. Outlined in red is the parcel that they plan to rezone, 5.99 acres. This next graphic just kind of shows you all of that pink there is already light industrial, so his current zoning, light industrial. The red is B2, which is business, so it kind of shows you where it might fit in. If the rezoning goes through and it changes to I2, I believe it would be a light green color, if that matters to you at all. I just thought it's a fun little thing to throw out there. But just kind of shows you that it is already surrounded by light industrial property. This is a proposed sketch of their parcel and the proposed building. So as you can see, it's a pretty large parcel and not that big of a shop. They've got some parking spots out there, you know, tentative. It'll all have to be approved and things to the building department. But that just kind of gives you an idea of how big their parcel is and then kind of the size of their building that'll be on the parcel. So the red there is the shop's footprint and then the blue is the property boundary. This was the citizen review process held on June 23rd at 5:30, the same location. Notices were posted in the paper on June 6th, 2025, on the website and on Facebook, and then in our local posting spots, 4 local posting spots here in town. And then notices were also sent to any of the adjacent landowners within 300 feet, and those were also sent out June 6th, and they received a comment letter if they were in support or against this rezoning, you know, if they thought it would affect them negatively, or if they, you know, gung-ho for it, loved the idea. And I received none back to date, so five I think were sent out and none received back. So if that gives you an idea about surrounding location. Here I have some factors not in favor of the rezoning, and it's just the vicinity to the Lions Park. But then if you look down at item number 1 and factors in favor of the rezoning, there's a fairly big wash that separates the Lions Park expansion. And then this parcel is surrounded, like we pointed out earlier, it's already surrounded by light industrial. So a heavy industrial rezoning kind of fits in and shouldn't cause too much of an issue there. Another factor in favor is also that there's a need for heavy industrial zoning in Benson, and new zoning, new businesses brings new jobs and new employees and possible growth. So those are some factors in favor of the rezoning, and then one factor against the rezoning. That's all for my presentation. Chair, I'll throw it back to you.
We'll now call for the applicant's statement. If you're present, please approach the podium. Introduce yourself.
So to clarify to everyone, including the public that's present, we're Engineered Concepts. We're the welding company that wants to move to Benson, and we're applying for rezoning. Accelerated Construction and Excavating LLC is the current parcel owner. Us purchasing the property is contingent on this rezoning. And then we are not, and this is not Aluminum Dynamics, and we have no association with them. This is just So a little bit about who we are. I'm Neil Gintz. I, along with my wife, April, we're the sole owners of Engineered Concepts. We're a small mom and pop welding and fabrication business. We've been in Tucson for 23 years. We, along with our 5 children, all right there. We live in St. David. We enjoy a small rural community and are quite fed up with the big city politics. So we decided that we'd like to move the business to a small, more rural community with the intent to bring some jobs to Benson. We're an American manufacturer and strongly support Made in the USA. In our industry, we're one of the few domestic suppliers, and we're quite proud of the fact that we use Americans and American steel for our products. What we do, we fabricate and manufacture various metal products almost exclusively to municipal, state, and federal customers across the country. One industry we serve is the electrical distribution sector. Think brackets on power poles, things that most people don't even notice, that's what we make. Why we're here. The reason we're applying for rezoning is because the city of Benson has a specific reference to manufacturing of metal fabricated products in their zoning regulations. There was a conversation that maybe that is a little bit erroneous, and we talked about maybe changing the zoning regulation, but decided that a rezoning would probably be more viable and a quicker way to go than to try and change zoning regulation. That being said, all of our previous facilities in Tucson have all been in light industrial, which is the way this property is currently zoned. But initial conversation with the city of Benson indicated current zoning was sufficient, but we chose to apply for the rezoning to ensure we were fully compliant. Next thing is questions.
Do you know what size electrical panel you're gonna be placing there for usage?
Had some conversation with SSVC. It looks like we're gonna do an 800 amp, 208 three-phase service.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
So I'll now call for comments from other persons, either in favor or against. There's a list over here. Your name will be called, and please approach.
We have one person interested in speaking on this item in the public hearing, and that's Mary Lopez.
Since there appears to be a lot of you wishing to speak today on the different items, just know when you come to the podium, you have to push the button the whole time, and the light should glow green for you. So just keep your finger on it the whole time. Oh, maybe it's been changed. Just glance at it, make sure it looks green. Oh, it stays on.
Okay.
It stays on.
I just want to say that, good afternoon, Mr. Jordan. I just want to say that I'm not against the company. I'm against changing to a heavy industrial. He's not, if he comes in, someone else might want to also. Could we just give him conditional permit or something? Or variance, I don't know what it takes. Because I'm not against them. Okay, thank you, that's all.
Okay, does the applicant have any rebuttal to that? If not, I now declare the public hearing. I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Not necessarily a rebuttal, just, I guess maybe just expand on that. I think that, as we discussed initially with the city, was, specifically calling out fabricated metal products in heavy industrial seems a little erroneous and maybe not correct according to other jurisdictions, but that is what it is for the city of Benson, so that's why we're going through this process. So just more context there.
Okay. I now declare the public hearing for rezoning of parcel 123-16-020E closed. And let's see where. What do you? Is there any commission's discussion on the agenda item?
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, point of order.
Yes.
The previous item was exhausted. Were you intending to address another item?
No, this is the change of zoning from I-1 to I-2.
So I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, you're taking new business item number 2 out of order?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So it follows along here with everything. Okay, so does the commission have any discussion? Blaine, you got anything out there?
No
Wayne?
questions on my part, no.
Okay,
I have no questions.
Lonnie has none. So can we have planner, now call for the planner's summary and recommendation.
I believe that slide is out of my PowerPoint, I don't see it, but city staff recommends approval of the rezoning of parcel 12316-020E to be sent to city council.
Okay, now call for a motion. Can I have a motion on this issue?
I'll make a motion. Commissioner Chair, I move to recommend to council the proposed changes to planning and zoning, here we go, sorry.
Yep.
Commissioner Chair, I move to recommend to council the applicant's request to change the zoning designation from light industrial I-1 to heavy industrial I-2 on APN 123-16-020E.
Do I have a second? I second it. Could I have a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
A,
Motion carries by 4-0. Okay, so that closes that one. So we want to go to the minutes now, approval of the minutes.
Mr. Chair, I believe the next item on your agenda is another public hearing for the bylaws.
Oh. Right. When do we want to do the minutes? We've kind of skipped by that now.
You're the chair, so if you'd like to do them now, you are welcome to. You just need to state that you're straying from the agenda. If not, you could do the public hearing and just
Well, let's,
continue down.
under new business, let's do the minutes first and then we'll do the bylaws changes. So, got a copy of the minutes here somewhere. So we got minutes of May 5th, 2025, minutes of June 16th, 2025, and amendment minutes from November 6th, 2024. You have all these in front of you. On the amended minutes of November 6th, there's just under a note there. The amendment is, Mr. Chairman asks if anyone present at the meeting would like to comment on the application, opening to the public hearing. That's added to the minutes, everything else stays the same.
Excuse me, are you asking for any these minutes to be, if the public objects to having them approved now, or are you giving them the option to pull them from the consent agenda for discussion on the November 6th, 2024 minutes?
What do you think, sir?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair?
What do you think about what you just asked?
There is no public hearing on
Minutes.
business item 1.
Right.
Because they're part of the consent agenda, but the law states that you ask the fellow commissioners as well as the public if anyone would like to have those minutes pulled from the consent agenda for discussion tonight.
Mr. Chair,
That's the law, and I'm not hearing you follow it.
Mr. Chair, there is no such law in Arizona. The item has been noticed up for approval of 3 different meeting minutes.
He is our legal counsel, so I would question you and not him.
No problem, I'll check with the Attorney General.
Well, good luck with that. Lori says aye.
We will have good luck with it.
Thanks for saying that.
Okay, the folks are out of order. Don't be clapping and giggling and all that during this meeting. I have officers here. If you want to keep this up, I'll have you removed from the building. So we need to stay in order for this entire meeting. Okay, back to the commission here. We got 3 sets of minutes to go through. Do we want to do them separately? Or all at once?
Mr. Chair, they're listed as a consent agenda. Item 1A, 1B, 1C.
Okay, so we'll do them separately. So let's go to the May 5th, 2025 minutes. Yeah, we need a motion on each one of these. Motion second and a vote.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the minutes of May 5th, 2025 regular meeting.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and second to approve the May 5th, 2025 minutes. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yea. Aye.
Aye.
A,
All opposed? None. Passes 4-0. Okay, so let's go to the June 16th regular meeting minutes. But I didn't see anything.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the minutes of June 16th, 2025 regular meeting.
I do have one update on there. It's just for my name. It has 2 N's in it. It only has 1, so if that can be corrected.
I think that's that. Thank you.
Did we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion and second to approve the June 16th, 2025 regular meeting of the Planning Commission. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
A,
Motion passes 4-0. Okay, and then, right, so the next item is the amended minutes of the November 6th, 2024 regular meeting. And that's where it added, the chairman asked if anyone present at the meeting would like to comment on the application opening the public hearing.
That's what I.
You're out of order, ma'am. The attorney's already spoken on this.
I signed up to speak on that.
Okay, well, you didn't call her name.
So you guys are skipping steps.
This is regarding the November 6th, 2024 meeting minutes that are being amended from a meeting of 8 months ago. And you're asking the public if anyone would like to speak on, comment on that. I know for sure of one person that filled out a request to speak on that.
Mr. Chairman, there is no public hearing on the meeting minutes. This is consent agenda. You
No,
are
you're,
able
by
to
law,
just
you have to,
approve.
by law,
Motion
you
and
have to give the
second
public
and all in favor
the
for this to go and
option
approve.
of requesting it be pulled from the consent agenda. It is not routine in nature to amend meeting minutes from 8 months previous.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, I think the confusion is that somebody signed up for the call to the public for agenda-related items.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he's got the list there.
Oh, so did you want to go to that, the call to the public?
No, I want to finish these minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
Yeah, I make a motion to approve the amended minutes for November 6th, 2024 regular meeting.
That is highly illegal what they just did.
I can't do it.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the amended minutes of November 6th, 2024 minutes. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Nay.
A,
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I didn't hear, can I just clarify, you got the fourth aye?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so now we're gonna go to number 3 on the agenda, discussion and possible action to amended Planning and Zoning Commission bylaws. Amendments may include, but not limited to addressing meeting dates, times, as well as quorum. Let's go to the planner's summary and recommendation. Oh, no. Planner's discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair. This item is edits to the planning and zoning bylaws. We are planning to remove and reword areas of the bylaws that typically deal with the meeting date, meeting time, and the quorum definition. This is a City of Benson planning staff initiative, mostly to help with attendance of our Planning and Zoning Commission officers, the commissioners. The update is to modify sections of the P&Z bylaws as an effort to keep the planning and zoning bylaws up to date. So like I said, it's basically just to make sure that the commissioners can all be present on the same day. It also has to go through the same citizen review, planning and zoning public hearing, and then be approved by council. So it also went on June 23rd to citizen review, 5:30 in the same building here. And then it's at the public hearing before P&Z today. And if P&Z recommends the changes to the bylaws, it will go to City Council on August 11th, 2025. This is just showing you the current language and the proposed language. So we're changing from the first Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. to the first Monday of the month at 5:30 p.m. to best fit our commissioners' schedules and to allow for a quorum to be present more easily. Also changing what a quorum is in the bylaws. So right now, current language is 4 or more members shall constitute a quorum. We'd like to change it to a quorum shall be present. I think a quorum kind of defines itself. It's half or more than the commission. So with a commission of 5, a quorum would be 3 rather than 4. This will also allow for business to happen and take place more easily and flow more easily if we are able to have less people present of the commission, less commissioners present. That's the end of my summary.
Make it even easier.
Is there any commission discussion? Did you have anybody signed up for this one?
When we open the public hearing, we do have 2 people that would like to speak.
Okay. So, well, now to open the public hearing for the proposed bylaws and regulations. Is there anyone signed up for discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. First is Crystal.
Hello. Can everyone hear me? Oh, yes, definitely. I am opposed to changing that to 3, a quorum to 3. I believe that 3 people should not decide the fate of Benson. I actually believe that we should increase it, that all members should be present for a vote to be valid. I don't know if I can say that motion or suggest it. I don't know. Preference?
We don't have all present here this evening. We're missing one.
I guess you should get some different members.
Nobody steps up.
I'm sure you'll have an abundance soon. But I am against only 3 people deciding the fate of Benson, because 4 decided the fate for ADI to come in.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Chris Bloom.
Council members, planning and zoning. I am also opposed to changing the definition. Everybody that is representing us needs to be present during the decision-making process in our community. So, short and sweet.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Okay, so I'll close the public hearing at this point, and then this is going to become a continued item. For mixed-use zoning, the commission has determined that this topic requires additional work before it's ready for discussion and will be brought to the Planning and Zoning Commission at a future meeting. Excuse me. We will now move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the call to the public, non-agenda related comments. Communications and comments from the citizens regarding the city of Benson and other matters properly addressed to the Planning and Zoning Commission shall be heard by the commission. Such remarks shall be addressed to the commission as a whole and shall be limited to 3 minutes, unless this time is, I'm not going to adjust it. So, okay, so you signed up. He's got the list over here. He's going to call your name up as he's got them in order, and I'll open the call to the public now.
Mr. Chair, we'd just like to clarify, would you like to do the non-agenda or the agenda-related?
Non-agenda. We already did the agenda related.
You have not done that yet. In your agenda, Mr. Chair, the call to the public agenda-related items are listed first.
Okay, so at this time, I'll back up a little bit. This is agenda-related items, so this is about the fabrication plant. Is it any citizens wish to speak on that?
Mr. Chairman, the call for the public agenda-related items will be for any of the 3 new business items. And we have 4 people who wish to speak, all of them in regards to item 1C. And first will be Dan Sprinkle. And just a reminder for folks, this is the call to the public, so you have 3 minutes to speak, and the commission is not allowed to reply during this period.
Even if it's an agenda item?
Yeah, during the call to the public, you have the opportunity to speak for 3
But
minutes.
I thought if it's an agenda item, they could speak and respond.
During the public hearing, they can, but not during the call to the public.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead, I sure can. Commission, thank you, I appreciate the opportunity to speak before you. I have just one question that I'm gonna ask, is why on November 6th were you in such a hurry, like impetuous children, to approve a conditional permit to ADIs? All you went off was what Mr. Coots had told you. You didn't stop, please don't smirk at me. All right, I saw you smirking at these people.
I'm not smoking it, even if you think I am, and he can have you removed.
You're not supposed to respond. Restart his time. You're not supposed to respond.
Who are you?
I'm the chairman.
You're not Jim Conrad.
A reminder to the commission that you're not allowed to respond during this period.
But anyway, back to my original question there, Mr. Chairman. I'll wait for you. Why did we not take the time to go do our own research about the plant, the smelter they want to build? Why didn't we farm it out to a third party who had no vested interest and get their input? And more importantly, why did we go to the public, broad public, to get opinions about this? This affects so many more people than just the people in the Benson city limits. And this should have been a broad call to anybody in the San Pedro Valley, this part of the San Pedro Valley, to ask their opinion about this. And what really bothers me is the fact that this was snuck under the radar, with 7 people notified and attended in November. I come up with 2 conclusions. Either you're all incompetent or there's something going on under the table. Keep smirking and laughing.
Do you know how unprofessional you're looking right now? And I'm getting very angry.
Stay calm.
I also want to point out that in your general development plan, I'm not getting on enough time here because I'm down to a minute, less than a minute. But in your general development plan, you violate or contradict, by allowing ADI to come here, you violate many of the areas in there. You violate the visual appeal, you violate, give me a second here, land use, environmental planning. And page 65, for example, it says clean air, water, and open space are seen as vital components to the residents of Benson and their way of life. But yet you're willing to bring in an industry that's going to suck up our water, poison the air, and somehow that's okay. So what's the point of having that general development plan? Please rescind that conditional permit.
Next up, we have Jacob Karchner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the Commission. I was actually asking to speak on agenda item number 3 for the amendments to the planning and zoning bylaws. Planning and zoning needs to remember that they are first and foremost planners. And they need to really stick to that general development plan. There's several things that are lacking in that, and if we can amend the bylaws somehow or another, hold the Planning and Zoning Commission accountable there. We need to plan for the expendable resources. I heard one question tonight on an industry that wants to come to Benson so that they can improve the value. And that question, I appreciate that. That was towards a resource with electricity. But we also need to ask these people when they come in what kind of water usage they're going to have, what kind of physical and you know, in the general development plan anyway, it speaks to the viewscapes, maintaining those viewscapes, maintaining what Benson is. And so if somehow or another we can get the bylaws and hold the commission accountable for that. Those expendable resources, such as water, are under litigation in the Sandpaper Valley. They have been for 50 years. And just because somebody wants to come in and tag on to municipal water so that they can bypass the litigation and pump out more water than my small farm that's been in my family for a long time is pumping, and the city planners find it is okay. The 400 plus acre feet of water a year that ADI plans on pulling out of the ground and taking from the city is almost half of what the city of Benson currently uses. It's more than, it's about 300 houses worth. And so if we're going to bring in industry, it needs to be industry that is rooted in the community, that is going to be part of the community and not just promise jobs. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, next we have Crystal.
Show off.
In case you didn't know, I'm Crystal. I did want to speak. I didn't get called, but I wanted to speak on Niels and his family coming in. I think that it's important to state again that they are not part of ADI, and actually they're ADI. They're actually. It was said that they're not, supporting it like some of the people here. So I think that their business will be great addition to our community. It can even offer some of the high school kids doing the welding program an internship or something. I think that's the kind of business that we should be inviting into our community, not like Jake's, said, a business that's going to be taking from our community. Wilcox is starting to truck water in. I don't want to be part of that. I think that we need to preserve Benson.
Mr. Chairman, next regarding item number 2, Randy Haynes.
Mr. Chairman, Randy Haynes, resident 914 South Stalactites. Regarding ADI, most of the criticism regards air pollution, but I think the water consumption poses a much more immediate and dangerous threat to Benson. Cooling towers are a huge consumer of water. In fact, that's what they do, that's how they work. They consume water without producing anything of lasting value like an ecosystem, a river, or even cattle, crops, or food for people. The problem you have here is because this is a planning and zoning commission, you may not be aware that Benson's 100-year designation of adequate water supply is already under critical attack. And it may be revoked or reduced. And that's because Benson's groundwater pumping contributes to the drawdown of the aquifer and threatens the future of the San Pedro River, and in particular, the San Pedro Resources National Conservation Area. The potential reduction of Benson's designation of adequate water supply is that what you need is a serious, extensive, and expert evaluation of the future of Benson's designation of adequate water supply before you consider any rezoning that would mortgage Benson's future to cooling towers. And while you do that review, you might also ask, why is the drought-stricken Southwest an appropriate location for evaporative cooling towers in the first place? Thank you for your attention.
Next up is Kathleen Kenny Haynes, and just a reminder, this is the call to the public for agenda items. If you want to speak about something off the agenda, then we can switch you over to, if you're going to talk about ADI, it would be non-agenda. If you're going to talk about one of the agenda items, then also speak.
ADI is non-agenda?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, well, I'll put you right over that path. Okay. Okay, next up is Wilson.
You'll be ready.
Wilson is choosing to pass. Next up is George Scott. I think George stepped out, so we'll move on to Ken 2.
Not too familiar with these procedures, so I hope I'm not out of line. I appreciate the opportunity to talk. Everybody who's talked so far, I agree with them 100%, so I could probably go sit down. But what I did want to say, and the only thing that I was really concerned about was I didn't realize that the commission could not answer questions, and that was the biggest thing I had. Like when I look at these items that we were addressing, both the aluminum plant and this other one, the public notice, I was curious as to, I think I heard that somebody said that the public notice was in a newspaper. Sarah Vista newspaper? That's nice. Benson. But anyway, I wanted to know
what other public notice was given out? When you make a decision that comes up to somebody like ADI and you have 4 people here, that doesn't seem very appropriate to me. The other thing I was gonna ask about was when you give somebody a conditional use permit or a permit to get started on something while it's going through the process of being approved, they're allowed to do that because they're already building stuff over there. So like, they made a decision without, and obviously as you can see in this room, there's a lot of people that are against this. And there's probably a lot more, but how many of them were at the original meeting? Not very many, I don't think. But I think you need to reconsider all that, and I think it needs to be readdressed if you can talk to your attorney and maybe change the administrative rules a little bit to where you can have more of the public input, where the public can be told more about this ahead of time, rather than after the fact. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Crystal Bittigan.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Kristen Bittigan. I live here in Benson. I had signed up to originally speak on item 1C on the consent agenda. I was wanting to request that this item be removed from the consent agenda and moved down for discussion this evening. I'm opposed to these minutes being amended 8 months after the fact of the original meeting back on November 6th, 2024. I myself am no attorney, nor do I have legal counsel here, but I was able to go on the City of Benson website under the Planning and Zoning page and refer to the Planning and Zoning Handbook by the Arizona Department of Commerce. Page 28, under consent and action items. Before a motion is made and note is taken, the chair asks if any commissioner or member of the public would like any of the items removed from the consent agenda in order to hear discussion of the item. If no one objects, then a motion to approve the consent agenda is made and the vote taken. If any item is removed, it is put on the regular agenda. The commission can then move on to action items. Let the record stand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris Bloom.
No comment.
All right, we'll move on from Chris. And George Scott, are you back in the room? All right, that is all we have for the call to the public for agenda items. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, that concludes the call to the public with the agenda-related items. I will now move to call to the public non-agenda related items. Once again, communications and comments from the citizens regarding the City of Benson and other matters properly addressed to the Planning and Zoning Commission shall be heard by the Commission. Such remarks shall be addressed to the Commission as whole and shall be limited to 3 minutes. At this time, I'll have to call off the names of the people that signed up and wish to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First up, we have Joseph Townsend.
Good evening, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Because I can hear myself, so. My name is Joseph Townsend. I am the president of Benson United, a non-profit founded to advocate for the people of Benson and the surrounding community. I'm speaking tonight on behalf of myself, Benson United, and 85 other concerned citizens who have signed a written petition regarding the Planning and Zoning Commission's November 6th, 2024 approval of a conditional use permit for aluminum bangos. We believe that the public notice and agenda for that meeting were legally insufficient under Arizona law. The agenda referred only to the building's height, and the notice published in the Sierra Vista Herald included promotional language about Aluminum Dynamics Mississippi facility, but gave no clear indication that the proposal here in Benson was for a 24-hour aluminum smelting and recycling plant. A reasonable member of the public could easily have concluded that the project was a warehouse or a transshipment facility supporting out-of-state operations, not a high-impact industrial manufacturing site in our own backyard. I have submitted a detailed written comment and petition to the city. I have submitted a detailed written petition and comments to the city clerk outlining these concerns, and I have copies here for your review and also for the attorney and for staff, so I will give that to you in a second. I respectfully ask that the Commission consider the petition, acknowledge the notice deficiencies, and re-agendize the matter with clear and accurate public notice so that the public has an opportunity to meaningfully comment before a decision is made about granting the conditional use permit. Thank you.
Okay, Kathleen, now it's your turn.
Good evening, Kathleen Mayes, speaking to Mike. Sorry. Kathleen Penny Haynes, resident Kirshner Vistas, Benson. Mr. Chairman, committee members, the proposed site for the the San Pedro site is not in harmony with the Benson General Development Plan, and it would take a complex major plan amendment to make it consistent with the plan. The proposed site for the aluminum recycling plant is only consistent with the development plan's land use category, that's L1, L2. But the appellate court decision in Haynes v. City of Phoenix requires any zoning to be in basic harmony with the whole plan. This proposed site is not. Therefore, as the proposed zoning change impacts a substantial portion of the city's planning area, a major amendment is necessary for zoning. The portions of disharmony with the land use parcel policies is at least the following respects. Inconsistency with the development of the historic downtown corridor and gateway point of entry on Highway 80. A tall tower is not a welcome sign. The viability of the San Pedro corridor and maintaining view sheds along roadways, as you have heard. On the other hand, if this project is found viable, the airport industrial park, which fulfills the core needs of the project, such as trucking and track availability and L1 and L2 zoning, is consistent and in harmony with the city's general development plan. There may be other issues arising from this proposed project, but by moving the project to the airport industrial park, the basic disharmony with the whole plan flies away, and there will be a bit of a win-win for the community and the applicant. But if you don't put this heavy industrial usage in the area you designated and planned for this type of development, you will have forever defined the character of the city of Benson's downtown as nothing more than an industrial recycling center. Thank you for your time.
Next up, Ken 2.
This is,
What did he just say? With his mic on? I'm glad we're recording. Yeah, we will.
Again, I agree with everything that's been said so far. A couple of comments I have in regards to what's been happening and why things need to change.
concerns me is not only what's happening with this cement factory now, is what's gonna happen in the future with other large companies coming into Benson and deciding they wanna get established here. The other thing that concerns me is if, and I'm not familiar exactly with the law, maybe he can tell us, but when it comes to issuing a temporary permits for anything at all, why it's going through the process, maybe the environmental test or whatever, and it comes back that hopefully the environmental test will come back that they can't put this in here, because I'm afraid if it doesn't, and they don't put it in here, they would have grounds to sue the city of Benson for breach of contract, which a lawsuit like that would probably bankrupt the city. So I think those things need to be considered before it goes on any further. Thank you.
Kristen Binnigan.
Hello again. This time I would like to speak specifically on the proposed aluminum plant for Benson. When I first learned of this, just like any other member of the public, I looked up the company, what all this entails for here in Benson, and then I looked up the company's history. And when you look at their history, it's dating very far back, decades, multiple decades, of violating their air permits. And what happens when they violate their air permits? They pay fines and they're still here in your town. Are very lacking. We had a small pocket of low-density residential to the southeast, and the second item was visually, this is much taller than surrounding buildings. I think quite a few factors not in favor were left off of this list. I've reached out to groups for better advice on what else should this list of factors not in favor have entailed. Center for Biodiversity is very concerned about this proposed company. They sent a letter this afternoon to the mayor and council members. They were unable to obtain the email addresses for the planning and zoning commissioners, but I have this letter here for you right now. Let the record show that I will provide it to you at this meeting. Thank you.
Red Wyckoff. Red. Okay, moving on. Erica Silva.
Thank you for hearing me today. I've been basically born and raised here. I am. Can you hear me now? Yes. Okay, so I am here because I care about
Erica,
this
can you
town.
move it right up in front of you?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm so sorry. So I've been in Benson for basically my entire life. My grandparents came down in the late 20s. This town means so much to me. I remember as a child being able to lay down in our yard looking at the sky. I'm looking at right now the sky with my grandchildren. It's not as beautiful as it used to be. I'm concerned about our water, very concerned about our water quality, how much our water has been depleted. This town has grown, and it's continuing to grow with more companies coming down here. How much water are they going to pull from our well? Where are they disposing of the waste? What's going to happen to my groundwater from my great-grandchildren? I probably won't be here to see that in 100 years,
Anyone else see
but I
this?
will have my future great-great-grandchildren here. I want them to experience the childhood that I did.
That's-
I don't want this fishery to happen in my town like it did in Wilcox. This is called fishery. This is happening in Wilcox. I don't want that for this town. This town means so much to me. I'm concerned about any kind of chemicals that are going into the soil, which will leak into our water. We're gonna have anything like Tucson, we have the TCE water, the PFAS. I don't want forever chemicals ruining my town. That's what I want to say. And a lot of people like industry. I myself would travel from Benson to Tucson for employment. I had my cousins, my sister travel to Fort Huachuca for work. We had no problem with that. I love my small town. I love it deeply. It's worth preserving my town. At what cost? For who's profiting from it? I want to reserve my town. I want to preserve it to the small town it was when my grandparents were here, so that my future great-grandchildren can know what it's like to live in a small town and to have the beautiful views that I have. With manufacturing companies coming here, they're not going to be able to go enjoy the views that I did as a child. Be able to sleep on the darn yard in the low night, just looking at the sky. I already see it. It's not as beautiful as it used to be. That's my main concern, and I just don't want any kind of forever chemicals being in our ground and our beautiful views. More companies are going to come into my town and are going to destroy my town. Our traffic. I couldn't even make a left-hand turn coming out from the bank. I had to go make a right-hand turn. What's going to happen to 4th? Highway 80, 90. How are we going to go ahead and implement that? 4th has a lot of historical buildings. Can we handle more people moving down here with our streets? Don't destroy my town. That's all I have to say. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Chris Bloom.
Anybody hear me? Good. So I would just like to acknowledge that you folks are in a very difficult situation with Aluminum Dynamics and this whole situation. I have to assume, in my opinion, that you're amending the minutes from the November meeting because of advice from legal counsel, because you are in a difficult situation. Okay? Sorry, my phone just locked down here. So the situation that you're in is basically, as proven by Aluminum Dynamics efforts in Gila Bend, suing the city council and the city of Gila Bend. So you're in a situation where you're either going to be sued by Aluminum Dynamics, or there are going to be environmental agencies and the people of Benson for not taking care of our town. So you're in a situation you probably can't win. So I do want to acknowledge that. But my question to you is, are you going to choose the corporation that's going to come and try to take advantage of our beautiful valley, our beautiful town? Or are you going to choose what the people of Benson want, which is to keep this a great place to live, to raise our kids with clean air, clean water, and without all the extra people that we don't want in our town, that are from out of town?
Yes.
And Dan King.
I'm Dan. Thank you, Council, for the time. And I just want to address y'all and our citizens and our neighbors here at Benson. And I come before you as a fellow citizen. And of course, we love to call this place home. But like many here, I've heard all the rumors that have been swirling around. I've heard calls for recall elections. I have heard slander. I have heard hatred. I have heard threats. I have heard accusations of fraud and corruption. And I know change can be unsettling. I know it can be scary. I understand that. But rumors and fear and fear-mongering and accusations do not help the situation, cannot solve the situation. We have elected a group of people. Whether you like them or not is beyond the scope of things, but we have elected a group of people that we have to put some sort of trust in, and fear will not help us with that. I understand we like our small town. but change and new business does not always ruin a town. Many times it's helpful, and you can still keep the small town feel, even though new businesses come into town. It seems like every business we have come into town, people like to dismiss and complain about and say it will ruin our town. I'm just encouraging all of us to keep our ears open as well as our mouths. We like to use our mouths a lot, but we need to listen as well, because it's not a one-way conversation. And we are given opportunities to meet at town halls and express our opinions. Every voice can be heard. It should not just be the loudest voice. It should be everybody's. And a strong community is not built on division. It's not built on fear. It's built on trust and respect and a shared vision for what might come down the road in the future. I know it's not easy, because change never is, but I think we as a town, I think we as a council, I think we as citizens can handle change, but we have to look at things a little bit differently sometimes, and look at some facts maybe over fears or rumors, look at hope instead of fear, and even think about creating a community that's just stronger instead of divided. And so I challenge us all today just to kind of keep our minds and our ears and our eyes open, and to I don't know how it's better to say it, but we're so upset that sometimes hate runs to the forefront of things. And I just want to encourage us to remain peaceful and kind and loving and supportive of our town and of each other. And if we can't do that, doesn't matter if the town's small or big, it doesn't amount to anything.
That's all of our speakers, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I've taken many notes here from all the comments, and this will be up for discussion in the future. So that concludes the call to the public. I'd like to thank everyone that took their time to come out this evening and speak to us. The commission will communicate with the planning staff, and we'll discuss a lot of these items that were brought up tonight in discussion. We'll have to, of course, the city attorney involved in this process, so we're doing everything properly. And is there a motion to close the meeting?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
before you close, you need to circle back to the rezoning application and the bylaws and either approve or deny.
We already approved those. That's why I told you I wanted to do those in order first. And we did that all already.
I wrote it down, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I apologize.
You're fine. Okay, is there a motion to close the meeting?
I make a motion that we close the meeting of, what is this, June 7th, regular meeting.
A second?
July.
Second? Yes, July, not June. June.
Pardon me, July 7th, 2025.
Do I have a second?
Just mark down whatever, you could change it.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Aye. Passes. Meeting is adjourned.
Corruption at its finest, folks. Thanks for watching.
Well, wasn't that interesting? Nice to meet you, James.
Hold on, I want you to meet my mom too. This is my mom, Marianne. This
Hi,
is
James's
Jeanette.
mom.
This
So
is
nice
my
to
mom,
meet you.
Mary.
I'm Janelle. Marianne, so nice to meet you. I'll talk to you more in
I
just
know,
a little
and
bit.
I
I'm
want
gonna
to
go
meet
meet
Christian.
Superman.
Well, I want to meet your dog.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I need to meet him too. Yeah, I already told him I want to talk to him. I gotta figure out how to start a live stream here.